What is going on, Rope Breakers? Welcome to another episode of React After All, right here live on our YouTube channel. Of course, it's Rope Break Wrestling. We're always here for you every single Monday night on this show. And we're here tonight to talk about Raw. And if Bret Hart was on, he'd give it a 4 out of 10. Maybe even less, come to think of it. Maybe a 1 out of 10 at that. Yeah, I said it. I'm going to say it right now in the opening of the show. This Raw sucked. You can agree, you can disagree. I don't care. It sucked. Or as they say in England, it was rubbish. So I don't even know where to begin with this episode of Raw. I mean, Matt, where do you want to start? Should we start from the beginning? Or I don't even know. There were just so many things wrong with this episode of Raw. I guess we can start at the beginning where, Cena comes out and he cuts a promo to get that cheap pop from the crowd saying, oh, London should have a WrestleMania. Yeah, that'd be great. But problem is it always is fucking raining in London. So not really a smart situation there. I'll see how that's going to work out. But either way, and then, of course, he does the open challenge, which I do like the idea of the open challenge. And then Bad News Bear comes out, accepts the challenge, and the match was very lax, very lazy. Bad News Bear seemed to be the only one who was putting any effort into it at all. Cena was just kind of phoning it in. He did work a house show earlier in the day, but still, the crowd was kind of into it. I don't even know, man. It just wasn't.
I was just gonna say that just to mention that the show was actually taped. So whether he worked the house show today, it wasn't actually live. So there's no excuse. That excuse out the window. Zero excuse from you, Mr. Cena. That was a bullshit match. You lazed your way through it. It was just lazy. I mean, no offense. I'm going to be labeled a Cena hater after this, but the guy, I don't know what his deal is. Like, he sells every move the exact same way. It's frustrating. Like, I'm not saying he's not talented, and I'm not saying that he's not good. It's just like the shit that he does, like, he could be so much better than he is. And he just doesn't try to get there. Like, he's just comfortable being like middle of the road. Like, I don't see him as a main eventer. His skill set isn't there. That doesn't mean he's not good. I've never seen him as like a top guy. Like, he's just like a mid carder that got thrust because he's big. I don't know. I just felt
I think the worst part is we've seen Cena put on some pretty decent matches, and then like tonight you watch him and you're just like, really? This is all you can give? You're supposed to be, the man that runs the place, the face of the company, blah, blah, blah. And this is what you give us on Monday Night Raw. This is how you are trying to bring prestige back to the U.S. title.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm disappointed. I'm just...
Even the commentary was garbage. Like, none of them, like...
Michael Cole shows up without a neck brace.
I know. Like, you're not going to sell... It was weird to me. And this tells me that they're brushing right over because they haven't mentioned it since. Like, they're not even going to continue that angle right now. Because JBL mentioned it to Cole, and Cole really quickly, like, shot him down and was like, we'll get to that later, and, like, just moved right on from it. And by the expression that JBL was giving after he said that was almost like, oh, shit, I shouldn't have said that. Mm-hmm. So I don't even think they wanted... That's the problem with this business. Like, this company, they just... Like, they're gonna glide over this like it never happened, and then they're gonna pick it up again down the road when it doesn't even matter anymore.
Well, I don't even think they've fined him yet for his attack on Michael Cole and the planted cameraman.
I don't think
they did. I must have missed it. So
yeah, I don't think that's even gonna happen. I think they're just dropping that whole angle. They drop too much stuff because they don't plan for these things. Everything is so last minute these days that you can't put on a good 3-hour show when everything you're planning, everything you're booking is last minute. It's impossible. And that's why this Raw, it was taped. Dude, how do you have a shitty taped Raw? Like, this should be like so simple for you. You have so much time. It's taped. You can stop. It's just ridiculous. I can't even understand it. And no offense to Booker T, but I thought his commentary tonight was terrible. Like I'm not a big fan of him on commentary in general. Like I just think he's very out of his element. Like he's always been really solid on the mic. Like I'm not denying that his mic ability's been really good. He can cut a promo like nobody else. But when it comes to commentary, because there is more structure to it, like I feel like he's out of his element and he just comes off very uncomfortable, very forced. It's just not a good set or a good position for him. And I'm going to be honest right now, the only reason he's on commentary is because Vince wants that urban feel to the commentary team.
I also think it's they want him to continue to stay in that Booker T character, and instead of, trying to actually call the match and talk about, the different events that are going on. They want him to stay in that character that, people are so used to seeing, and it definitely throws everything off.
Well, I think what happens is they want him to stay in that character, but they also want to tell him how to do it. You know what I mean? Like Booker T has always been a guy who can cut a promo on. He doesn't need people to tell him his lines. He can just do it. And I think on commentary, he's got people feeding him through his headset. I want you to say this, this, and this. And it shows because if you listen to what he says, it's always delayed. He always has a reaction later than when something happens. So somebody will do a big maneuver, and like seconds later, after it's already happened, and they're already on to the next move in the move set, you have Booker T going, "Oh man, that was crazy." It's like that already happened. Like, so he's like listening and trying to like piece things together. I just don't think that this is a good fit for him. I don't know. I think they need to figure something out. But yeah, just the whole commentary team was like uninterested in this match. And like you said, Barrett was the only one like putting any effort into it. It's like, what the hell? Like, I don't know. It just seems to me like, and I said this to you earlier, it seems to me like I'm gonna come off like a Cena hater, but I feel like especially in this match, there's a lot of times where Cena only puts effort in when he wants to. Like if he's not like, this isn't a big match, who cares? I don't need to put that much effort in. When there's other guys who want the spot he's in right now, who put effort in every single night, even when it's not benefiting them. And I just feel like he's at that point in his career, and he's not always been like that. I think it's been more recently. He's at the point where it's like he's untouchable. I got stuff to do tonight. I'm not going to put that much effort in. And I feel like he's lost some of his passion. Like I just don't feel it anymore. Like even though I've never really cared for the guy, I've always had the sense that this guy loves what he's doing. In the past, it's not been long. This past year, pretty much, I felt it kind of go down and start declining, and how much I don't feel like he wants to be here anymore. And I don't know. This match was just lame. I don't know. He's trying to be inventive with that springboard, and I know, Alec, that's your favorite maneuver of his in his move set. I got to give him credit. He's trying.
He's trying. I appreciate what he's doing. I think he's doing what he can, given the position he's in. Sure, the springboard stunner isn't the greatest move. It's usually sloppy. Hopefully he cleans it up. Hopefully he cleans up the STF, as Stone Cold said. Lock that sumbitch up more. But, I do agree with you. I think, Cena's kind of lost some steam over the past year. Just, given his position, where he's seated at the top at the same time, they're slowly trying to phase him out. And, there was that rumor a couple months ago that they're trying to put him in a Bruno Sammartino role, where he's still a top guy, but he's not in the title picture. So they can slowly phase him out and then push the other newer talent ahead, which, is a good idea. But you have a guy like Cena who is, beloved by the kids. And he did say on that Chris Jericho podcast on the network that he was supposed to turn heel during his feud with The Rock. And that never happened. He went out, paid for all new gear, something like $5,000, all new gear ready. And then Creative told him, "Nope, we're not doing it."
Wow, and, I never heard that. That's
I believe he ended up donating that $5,000 to the other wrestlers, so they could get gear and shit like that, because that is expensive stuff. So
yeah,
I believe he donated that.
So wait, he went out on his own and bought new gear to
Yeah,
turn heel?
because he was supposed to turn heel during his feud with The Rock, and then
Wow.
creative told him no, forget it. And he's ready to turn heel, but he said that he needs someone to be there for the kids in order for that to happen.
That
And
would
you've
be
got plenty of guys on the. Daniel Bryan is a perfect example of somebody who could take the reins of being that guy for the kids. Roman Reigns could be that guy for the kids, so you can do some more creative things with John Cena. I'm sure not all the kids will hate him if he turns heel, but I feel like you know
there'll be a big
if
boom
the
of
opportunity
disappointment.
arises, then maybe you should roll with it.
I think I think it's a tough situation because of the way that creative books things. I feel like when they think of, oh, they need to be there for the kids, it's always over the top cartoony characters. You don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to be a cartoony character to be popular with kids. There are other ways around that. Just being entertaining in and of itself will make you popular with kids. It's that simple. You don't need to be over the top. You don't need to be cartoony. And that would just be my fear with a guy like Daniel Bryan or a guy like Roman Reigns. They would make him that they would take the edge away. They would make Daniel Bryan like, I don't know if you ever saw the thing with Daniel Bryan on what was it, the JBL and Michael Cole show, whatever the hell it was. They did something with him. I think he was on Superstars, or no, it was Saturday Morning Slam, and like he had this really like watered down, very, very kid oriented character. He had like this like weird like Superman like hair swoop thing. It was weird. His hair was all greased back, and he was all like, "I love unicorns and candy, and children are great." It was weird. That's why saying Saturday Morning Slam doesn't exist, because obviously kids are not paying their bills. If they were, then that would have been a hit. So I understand where Cena's coming from, but if he's ready to turn him heel, come on, do it already. I think that would be great for the business. Not even because Cena's boring, but I think that would be a huge boom for the business. Like that would just shake everything to the core. Like nobody would expect it, because Cena
Well, it's
has
like
been
when
adamant.
Hogan did it back in the day in WCW. I think it was at Bash of the Beach or whatever. He was the third man. Joins the NWO, turns heel. It was one of the biggest moments. Not in just WCW, WWE history, but in pro wrestling history. Like, here's Hulk Hogan, the man, Hulkamania, and he becomes a bad guy after being a good guy for 10, 15 years or more already at the top. So sometimes you have to spice things up.
I do feel like there's a heel turn coming from him, though. I kind of felt it tonight. He's been like losing and losing, and things have been not going his way. Obviously, he won. He wins tonight and stuff, but he's like, Rusev is always there. I feel like I think this feud's going to continue to SummerSlam. I think Rusev's going to beat him at SummerSlam, and I think there's going to be something's going to happen. I think there kind of been just the way Cena's attitude has been. I think they know that the crowd is not. I think they're finally getting the hint that the crowd doesn't like Cena, because they always used to like pretend like that didn't happen. They're like, oh, the fans love Cena. He's the greatest superstar of all time. But obviously that's not the case. Fans aren't too happy with him. And if they turn him heel, they can't I just feel like they're going to turn him heel, and it's just going to be Cena just telling the crowd that he hates him. He's still going to be it's going to be like darker colors. Like he's still going to wear multiple colors. It's just going to be a dark blue and a dark red hat and like dark wristbands.
I don't know if this is. I mean, I saw it on Reddit, but someone posted John Cena's heel theme song. I don't know if it was the official one, but it's out there on YouTube. So if you guys have a chance, definitely just go to YouTube. John Cena's heel theme should pop up, maybe the first or second one. I think it's from 2014 or 2013 maybe, but it's out there somewhere. It's pretty dark. It's pretty different. It's still a rap song, but it's a darker song. But we've talked about John Cena long enough. At Divas Battle Royal, I mean, it was. I don't know. It was a Divas Battle Royal. They're never usually Good. Of course, Paige wins in front of her home crowd. I guess gets a huge pop from the crowd, and then gets attacked by Naomi. And now I believe Paige is going to be out, so she can go film Santa's Little Helper with the Miz. So that can come out this holiday season. So for all you Paige and Miz fans, you can watch that movie this holiday season. Really interesting to see Naomi have the heel turn here, because they don't do a lot with the Divas. So I'm glad they did this and kind of gave Naomi some character development. And I liked how she took the Uso shirt off and tossed it like she's, because I was worried like, okay, she turned heel, but she's still associated with the Usos, who are a face tag team. So how is that going to work? And then she tossed the shirt, and so I think it works out like, okay, she's no longer associated with the Usos. Now she's Naomi. So it's going to be interesting to see what WWE pulls you. Do they keep Paige in the match at Extreme Rules, or do they decide to go with the injury angle? I'm pretty sure it's up on WWE.com, and put Naomi in the match instead and have another Battle Royal next week. I don't know. Matt, your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, I didn't actually watch the Battle Royal. I did see Paige win, but I didn't watch. I saw Rosa Mendez in there, and I'm just like, all right, time to go get something to eat. No offense to Rosa, but yeah, I was like, okay, this is not going to be good. This is going to be a typical Divas Battle Royal, and from what you're describing, I was absolutely right, and I'm glad I went and got something to eat. I love the heel turn from Naomi. Definitely made sense. I like the way they've been doing this, though. I like how they put her with the Usos to kind of build that notoriety, to kind of get her to a point where people, okay, I know who Naomi is now. And then they're going to push her on her own. I like that they did that. That was the very smart way to build that.
They took so long to do it, too, because she's such a talented wrestler in her own right.
Yep. Unfortunately, she should have had the title already a few times. But yeah, she is very talented.
Got that eye injury.
Yep.
A while back, and that kind of derailed the push.
Yep, exactly. I think this match overall, taking the match out of it, everything that happened after with Paige winning in her hometown, getting that huge pop, and then having Naomi come in, I think everything was booked very smart. It made sense. Obviously, you want to get Naomi heat. You're gonna have her attack Paige, but that makes me wonder: is that gonna translate when they get back to the States? Is that gonna translate with the other crowd? Because I know Paige gets mixed reactions, and this is another thing that they do that I don't think that they comprehend. Yeah, it's gonna get Naomi heat in the UK because Paige is from the UK. Just like Bad News Barrett got a huge pop in the UK. Bad News Barrett's not going to get that same pop when he comes back to the States. So is this heel turn going to translate well over when she comes back to the United States? Because Paige gets mixed reactions here all the time. Some places she gets booed, some places she gets cheered, some places it's both. So I don't know how well that's going to work when they come back. But, I mean, hopefully with the promo she cut, and I don't know if probably want to talk about that later, but hopefully with that promo she cut, and they can continue to build her character as a heel and her come out and just be aggressive and attacking more people. I think it will work, but for what it was worth, for where it was, for how they did it, I think it was the right decision. I think it was a smart move to do it the way they did it. And like you said, it takes Paige out because she's got to go film a stupid movie, because every wrestler that comes in, I can't wait to see what movie they're going to put Neville in.
Bad News Barrett is doing a movie.
Oh, lovely!
I believe called Eliminators. I don't know what it's about. I just saw it, but WWE.com is saying those specifics have yet to be confirmed. Early reports suggest that Paige suffered internal injuries as a result of the attack. We saw the Diva tomorrow beaten outside the ring and thrown into the barricade repeatedly. And I just really have to point this out real quick. On that same page, they have like the little different things you click on the side. There's a poll, which Raw Ambush was the most sadistic, and then there's a promo picture for Nikki versus Paige. And then there's a hometown beatdowns video link, and the thumbnail is Curtis Axel and Ryback beating up CM Punk. I don't know what the intentions are there, but I see what you're doing, WWE. I see what
That's
you're
funny.
doing.
That's funny. That's clever. That is clever.
You gotta take a jab at him wherever you can.
Yeah. I hate when they do something like this and then they build a background story that's completely unrealistic. Like, Paige suffered internal injuries. Like, how many times are people thrown against the barricade? Roman Reigns was thrown up against a fucking taxi. Why does she get, like, this doesn't make sense to me. Like, they should have said something more realistic, like, oh, she bruised her ribs, or she got a concussion and bruised her ribs, or she sprained her ankle, or something that would keep her off TV for a while. Internal injuries. She might have gotten internal injuries from getting slammed. I've seen her take worse bumps. That's not realistic. Like, it's just ridiculous that these morons are writing the show. Like, what the fuck? Like, it makes no sense. Come on, guys. Get your shit together. Michael P.S. Hayes is like, internal injuries. Yeah, I like it. Fucking hate. He probably has nothing to do with this. I just hate that guy so much. I blame him for everything. He's at fault for every bad thing that's ever happened in wrestling, even when he wasn't around, even when he wasn't involved. It's his fault.
I feel like that's the general consensus here at Rope Break Wrestling. We usually don't take too much of a liking to Michael P.S. Hayes. Now, I'd move on to the next segment, but my phone died, so I don't have my notes in front of me. So I'm quickly scrambling to get the match card here up on my computer.
That's always
unbelievable.
Fun. That's always fun.
It always happens.
I can recite it. I can recite a poem that I wrote. What am I, Lanny Poffo?
It's not poetry hour here. We don't do poetry here.
I can sing a little song, do a little song and dance. What?
No, let's not. Let's not do that either.
Yeah, we don't want to lose. We don't want to lose viewers.
Let's not do that at all.
We can just skip. We can just skip the bullshit and just you want to just talk about like at least maybe just me what I thought were the best segments.
Oh, hang on. I got some stuff here.
Some stuff here. All right. We're getting it together.
Some stuff here.
Technical difficulties. We got this.
Or there was the Lucha Dragons versus the Ascension. Quickly, Lucha Dragons are a great tag team. Even though with the primetime players, WWE's bringing their tag team division one team at a time. But let's talk about that Booker T interview with Roman Reigns. Obviously, the big critical thing with Roman Reigns for I would say a year now is that he's not good with his promos. He's not good in the ring. Shield this, shield that. We go on about that for a whole episode and more, but we're not because we've done it too many times. But tonight, Roman did a pretty solid job talking with Booker, talking to Big Show, talking smack, really, getting into it. And he was really fluid. He didn't flub any lines. There was some stuff there that, almost he went off course, but he stayed the course. And I feel like those things are more comfortable for him than just cutting a promo right off the bat. I feel like, when you watch him in, interviews too, where you listen to interviews, he's a lot better than when he just goes out there and they hand him a mic and say, here you go, cut a promo. When he's got somebody there to ask him questions and kind of lead him along, he does a lot better. So tonight he did a good job at that promo. Unfortunately, this feud with Big Show is a fucking dead horse. And anytime anybody feuds with Big Show, it's a dead fucking horse because we all know why they do it. They want to make the other guy look strong. Yeah, haha, laugh at the fucking Roman Reigns joke. Go ahead. They want to make the other guy look strong. They want to, say, oh, well, he beat Big Show, so he's good. He's going to move on to big things. It's played out. Give us something believable. Oh, big deal. Big Show's, the winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Oh, big whoop. You know,
That's how they
that's
posted it. That's how they posted it on Facebook too. They're like, relive the Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner chokeslam Roman Reigns. I'm not even kidding. They didn't even say Big Show.
And it's not even anything prestigious, and that's not to discredit Andre or disrespect Andre, but after they fucked up the first year of not pushing Cesaro, you can't take the winner of it seriously at the moment. Okay, you have Cesaro win it, and then you completely squander his push, and then you have Big Show, a 20-plus year veteran, win it. For what reason? You should be giving it to a guy who needs a push, who needs to go over, who you want to take the next step in his career. Give it to, I don't know, give it to Ryback, give it to Curtis Axel, Hideo Itami, Tyson Kidd, Adrian Neville, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens. Just anybody on their roster who kind of needs a boost and someone they want to push.
They can't give it to Kevin Owens yet because he's got a feud with Samoa Joe when he comes in.
Well, that'd be pretty exciting. And speaking of Kevin Owens, he's probably going to be getting the Sami Zayn treatment. It looks like he's going to be in NXT for a while. One of the rumors today, which is up on RopeBreakWrestling.com, is that they're going to give him a lengthy title run. He's not dropping it anytime soon. So Kevin Owens is going to be sticking around NXT for a while, even though he's by far ready for the main roster. But that's another discussion. But back to this segment. Big Show, whatever. Roman Reigns goes up. He goes to leave. Big Show attacks him, throws him up against the London Taxi a bunch of times, and then caves in the roof of the London Taxi. And, of course, they make Roman Reigns look strong, ha, 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 because he got up and left under his own power. Again. So I'm sure at Extreme Rules we'll see Roman Reigns versus Big Show, probably in an Extreme Rules match or a Yappa Pie strap match or, a dog collar match or some kind of stipulation. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I really want Roman Reigns to succeed and be a top guy. But when he's with Big Show, it doesn't work. Like, he went from Brock Lesnar to Big Show. He did go from Brock Lesnar to John Cena. He did go from Brock Lesnar to Seth Rollins or Brock Lesnar to Randy Orton. He went from Brock Lesnar to Big Show.
See, I was thinking about this while I was watching the show. They book their superstars as if they're still in their prime. Like, they book Big Show as if he's still the Big Show from the early to mid 90s, and they book Kane as if he's the Kane from the early to mid 90s. And I don't think they get that they're not even remotely close to what they used to be, and you're just embarrassing them and all the fans who are fans of them. Like, I'm a fan of Big Show and I'm a fan of Kane, but it's hard to watch them because they're not good anymore. Like, they just can't. I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
They still put talent over. They still put young guys over, but it's just, like you said, they're booking them like they're still in their prime when they're not.
Yep, exactly. Like, oh, Big Show is this vicious monster. It's like when you've had him cry like every other week on TV for like 3 years, and then you've
had him at 30+ face and heel turns in his entire career.
Yeah, when he's been a heel and like every other week he's a heel or a face, and you just keep flipping it back and forth. How are you supposed to take him seriously? You haven't booked him as a vicious heel. It's not hard to book a heel. Like, you don't have, like, when Khali has never been good. I apologize for bringing him into this conversation, but I have to bring this up as an example. Because Khali has never been good. He's always been the same stick leg, very, very off balance, very terrible in the ring. I don't even want to say superstar, but superstar. And but when he first came on into the scene, this is where it comes into play that booking is crucial. Booking can make a guy. Booking made Khali what he was. Like, when they booked him at first, like, he was vicious. He came in, he attacked the Undertaker.
Exactly.
And you were like, holy shit, this guy's fucking 7'2". What is he, 450 pounds? This guy's a monster. Holy Christ. you forgot that he wasn't good. You forgot that this guy was absolute garbage in the ring and looked terrible because of the way he was being booked. Big Show I still think Big Show can go to some extent. He's not what he used to be, but he still has that little bit in him where he can put on decent matches. Not great, but decent matches. Use that. Book him properly. And like if you can make Khali look good, you can make Big Show look good. Or you don't even have to try. Have him come out, have him just be vicious. He don't even have to cut promos. Stop trying to get him to be like the next Rock on the mic. Like, stop making him cut promos. Just have him come out, be vicious, choke slam everybody. Build him like you built Brock Lesnar, and then Roman Reigns versus Big Show would make sense. But you're not booking him that way. You're booking him like a mid-carder, and nobody can take him seriously. Same exact thing with Kane. Just take that scenario I just said with Big Show, put it over to Kane. Same thing.
I absolutely agree with you. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing anymore. I really don't.
But I do want to say though, I did like Roman Reigns' promo. I was impressed.
Oh, I did too.
It was a solid promo a solid Roman Reigns promo. Actually, you know what? No, that's not fair. It was a solid promo. Even for anybody, it was a solid promo. He looked more comfortable. He was kind of listening. I liked his facial expressions this week. It wasn't like the same like confused like trying to think of a line. It was, he was kind of like listening to the crowd, kind of like, all right, keep chanting shit. I don't care. Like, I liked that. That was definitely good. They got rid of the white trim, I think, on his pants, so I was all right with that. I'm like, okay, that's okay. And I think I like the way he said "believe that" a little bit better. I still wish he didn't. I still find it annoying because it reminds me of the Shield. But the way he said "believe" and then he stopped, looked around a minute, and said "that," and then dropped the mic. I thought that was way better than just peppering it in there just so he can get it in. And I like that he didn't. When he used his catchphrase, "I can and I will," but he did it in a way that wasn't like in your face. He kind of softly incorporated it into what he was saying. He painted a picture. It was fluid all the way through. He had the concept. It made sense. I knew what he was trying to say. He made his point, and then he left. And I thought he did a good job. If he can continue on this road and continue to build himself, I think he still has potential. And even his little segment with Big Show when he was being thrown into the taxi, I really thought he did a great job with that segment. When he first got thrown into it and he was on the ground, he did a great job at selling that as being really painful. It probably did hurt a little bit, but I think he was wearing, no, he wasn't wearing his vest underneath. It was just a shirt. But he did a great job at selling that. I was really impressed with him. And that's something on my screen. That's why I paused for a second. I'm like, what the hell is that shit? All right. I apologize for the stupid look on my face. That's just how it was born. Yeah, this week I was impressed with him. He needs to keep on this build. They need to let him get more comfortable like this. And I see him, if he continues on this path, I can see him being a champion next year at next year's Mania. I could see it happening. But they need to really start.
I think they put the Money in the Bank on him this year. I think that's a good way. I think that's a good way to build guys who need it. Seth Rollins didn't really need it, but they just did it. I guess just to give him, just add more to his character, and it worked. It helped him as a heel. But I think it will work out well for Roman Reigns if he wins the Money in the Bank. And they've got a year to really give him a good push and make him something that the fans are going to like.
Yep, I completely agree. I think that's a smart decision because it gives him, I don't know, I feel like it's going to be interesting to see how he handles that as far as his character goes, because when you have the Money in the Bank briefcase and you're a heel, it's a lot easier because you can just be arrogant. I have the Money in the Bank briefcase. I can do whatever I want to do. When you're a face, it's a lot more difficult. So I think it'd be interesting to see how he would handle it. I think it's early enough. I think they could eventually start waning Seth Rollins into a babyface at some point down the road. Not right now, but I think somewhere down the road, maybe past SummerSlam, maybe even past Survivor Series or something. But I think that eventually putting him babyface and then even maybe making Roman Reigns heel, I think that might help him. I don't know. Maybe have him join Authority. I don't know. I think there could be an interesting swerve there where they turn on Seth Rollins and they put in Roman Reigns after seeing the beating he took and was still able to come back. You know, they take him in, he turns heel, and they knock out Seth Rollins and make him the top face in the company or one notch below Cena. I think that could be interesting, something they could play with. I don't know. But Money in the Bank on Reigns would definitely be something interesting.
Absolutely. Here's something we need to talk about. Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt went to WrestleMania, did a hell of a job building that feud up by himself. Had a pretty decent match with The Undertaker. Wasn't the greatest match because Bray Wyatt was suffering through an injury, but he did move around like he wasn't injured, and he did a pretty decent job. Undertaker did as well after really, keeping just fans in the dark for the past year. I mean, we've seen the pictures, that his wife has posted, but we didn't really know what he'd be like in the ring. He did a pretty decent job in that match, but Bray Wyatt has been cutting promos again, which I feel like is the wrong move. I feel like WWE should have kept him off TV to sell that loss, to sell how distraught he is, to sell that he couldn't get the job done, he couldn't beat the Undertaker, he couldn't become the new face of fear. Instead, he's right back in it, and now he's going after somebody else. I just think it's the wrong move. It's just I'm bored with it. It's become stale. Like I feel like that's all they have Bray Wyatt do is cut promos, and I'm just tired of it. And he's great at promos. He's great. He's one of the best people I've ever seen step on a mic and cut a good promo because it's real. It comes from someplace real within him. He said that plenty of times when he does interviews. It's from something within him that's real, so it adds to that promo that he does. But now it's just like we need something different. We need to see Bray Wyatt in the ring more than we need to see Bray Wyatt on the mic.
Yep.
It's just I'm bored with it. I'm bored with it. I hate being bored with it, but there's just really no other way to put it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's no secret. Excuse me. Man, I've been screwing up this entire podcast, looking down at my screen, just being off in the I'm quitting. I'm just fire me right now. Fire me. I'm leaving rope break. All right. Yeah, I don't think it's any secret that I'm a huge Bray Wyatt fan and have been since he's come on. I know there's been I know Aussie in particular has always been kind of hesitant when it comes to Bray. When he first came on, he wasn't sure how he felt about him. I've loved him since he debuted. I've thought he's been phenomenal. But even I agree with you, and I think it's ridiculous. One, that they brought him back this early. It doesn't make sense. When you have a match like that, I understand the idea. They don't want him to get lost in the mix, and that makes sense. But I think that they should have kept him off for at least a little while longer. I think bringing him back this early makes no sense. It makes it seem like his fight with Undertaker was absolutely nothing, which is ridiculous. And his promos, like, they have nothing for him. And you're right. It seems like they rely way too heavily on his ability to cut a good promo. Like, they're not showcasing his in-ring ability. And I think he's very talented in the ring. And I know a lot of there are people who would disagree with that. But I think the only reason they're disagreeing with that and think that he's not good in the ring is because they haven't seen enough of it. I am a person who doesn't need to see a long match to know whether or not I think somebody's good in the ring. I can already tell you that he has a lot of skill. And I understand why people don't like him, though. Why there are people who don't think he's that good, because of the fact that he doesn't get a lot of time in the ring. You don't see him that often. But I think those people who don't think he's good are also the same people who don't think Daniel Bryan's good in the ring, and those are the people I like to call idiots. Like how do you not think Daniel Bryan's good? Like, come on, that's just, you got to be a troll. You can't be serious with that. That doesn't even make sense. Oh, these people, where do these people come from? I don't even understand these people, Alec. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, I think they should have kept him off TV, built the injury just a little bit. It's not like he can come back. He's injured. Use the injury. He's injured. He hurt his ankle. Use that to your advantage. Keep him off TV. And while he's off TV, here's a novel idea. I know you guys have probably forgotten how to do this. Build a storyline. I know, it's a newfangled concept that you probably have never heard of before. You use this injury to build a storyline so that you have something for him when he comes back, and you're not just fucking picking your ass trying to figure out what the hell you're gonna do next. Like that's all it is. Like, they don't take any of these. Like when Roman Reigns was out with his hernia, they did nothing. They took no time building anything. Like, they weren't sitting down thinking, all right, what should we do when he comes back? They were like, oh, let's just put him on the Titantron and tell everybody that he's A-okay and he's going to make it rain in this bitch. That was their whole game plan, when they could have been taking that time to build a storyline between him and Seth Rollins and really doing something great. They wasted it. They're doing the same thing here. Use the injury to your advantage. Keep him off TV. Build this storyline. Build something between him and somebody. I don't care who it is. Freaking Luke Harper. There you go. There's already a storyline kind of there. He used to be part of the, I don't know, maybe Luke Harper or maybe Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan's a good guy now, so maybe he has a story with Eric Rowan. I don't know. Do something. That's not really a good example because those two matches probably would suck. But it's not my job to come up with this shit. It's your job. Figure it out.
I definitely agree. They should have used the injury to their advantage. I know someone might say, well, they are, building a storyline, having to do the promos. No, because he's not talking about anybody specific. He's just saying, oh, I'm coming after you because of your dedication and your love and blah, blah, fucking blah. Well, you know what? I don't give a shit. I don't want the fucking cryptic promos. Just fucking tell me who you're going after. Who is your target? That's how you build the story. Don't just, I understand he's supposed to be the creepy character, the new face of fear, blah, blah, blah. But, it's like if you made a horror movie with, Michael Myers or, and all of a sudden he just didn't have a motive. He just wanted to, there was really no motive. He just kind of walked around with a knife and didn't really do anything. And, just kind of peeked in and threatened people with the knife and then said, no, forget it. I'm going to go find somebody else. That's kind of what they're doing with Bray Wyatt now is, oh, well, I'm coming after you because of your dedication and blah, blah, blah. But, hey, I don't know when I'm going to be there to get you. And then, randomly I'm going to sneak up on you and get you. Whatever it is, it's bullshit.
Yep,
bullshit. It's you've got a whole creative team of writers, and this is what you come up with for a guy who should be a whole hell of a lot better. But we're not there yet. But let's move on with this Monday Night Raw. I don't even know where to move on to. Orton versus Cesaro and Kid. I mean, that wasn't really anything special. I mean, Orton won, and you got to pick a stipulation, which was revealed later in the night. That wasn't really a match to write home about. Then you had Dean Ambrose versus Adam Rose, which was the most random fucking match I've ever seen. Just like, oh, hey, we need Dean Ambrose to do something. Oh, let's have him face Adam Rose for no reason. I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's one of those booking decisions that just leaves you scratching your head because you're just like, I know they were trying to put they're trying to just it's a filler match. They're just trying to get Ambrose over a little bit and set up this feud with Luke Harper. But like, I also feel like they're still trying to get Adam Rose over, because why else would they be like trying to like give him a new character? Like, they're trying to make his character darker. And they even said so on commentary, like, oh, he's even more aggressive now. Like, I feel like they're really trying to still get Adam Rose over. I don't know. I don't know what the hell their deal is. That match was stupid. Fucking Raw.
And then after that, we had Stardust and Fandango. And then somehow Fandango dubs Rosa, and they play the old Fandango theme. And of course, it's super over with the fucking crowd. So now they hope that, because of the millions that watch at home, when they go to the events now, that they'll start Fandangoing again, because I don't know, they want Fandango to be over. Whatever. I feel like his character is a waste of space. The guy, he's not a bad wrestler, but I feel like the character isn't that great. Pretty good backstage segment between Kane and Daniel Bryan. They do have a decent history there with Team Hell No. I thought it was a good segment with, Daniel Bryan poking and prodding and bringing up, how, wrestlers in WCW just lay it down and, let the wins happen. And it was pretty good. I feel it. We always talk about it. We need more backstage stuff. We don't get it. We don't get any of that. It doesn't add to the story. We just get what we see on Raw, what we see on SmackDown, and there's nothing else. It's like, you have 3 hours. We didn't need Stardust versus Fandango tonight. We didn't need Dean Ambrose versus Adam Rose. We didn't need a primetime player segment. We didn't need Ryback versus Luke Harper. You could have done so much more with those different time slots on the show, and you didn't. You just gave us bullshit.
Yep. I think it's not so much that we need more backstage segments. I think we need more backstage segments that aren't in the same location every single week. We need more diversity, more variety in the backstage segments, not just these really quick propped up backstage. There's a random monitor there and Byron Saxton looking like a complete goober holding the microphone talking to somebody. I mean, that's like this. It's like stale. Like, do something, go backstage and like do something, like buy a vending machine, like something. Like, there's a vending machine, they throw a guy in the vending,
in a parking lot or an office or the locker room, or
exactly,
walking to the ring. Just not just this random, like, oh, here's a random corridor. We're gonna put up a curtain here, throw our logo up, and then this is where we'll do this segment. That's where we're going to do all the backstage segments for the show, because that's what works.
Yeah, exactly. They have the tendency where they'll start to do things like that, where they'll have little backstage segments, and they'll be in places you're like, oh, this is different. Oh, cool. They're going to start actually doing better backstage segments. And then they don't, and then they completely fall off of that and go back to their standard, like you said, curtain and like really like impromptu placed walls and Byron Saxton, and it's just a mess. It's stale. It's stupid. They need to fix their shit. That's what they need to do.
I think tonight's Raw really showed the lack of production that WWE wants to put into their shows now. Like, they don't want to make it a good show. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because they can't figure it out creatively, or if it's because, ever since they went to 3 hours, it's just, it's been hit or miss here. When it was 2 hours, it was pretty decent. The show had a good flow. Now we just get hit and miss episodes. I don't know. I think tonight's episode really showed their flaws. I really do. I
agree. I completely agree. I feel like what was wrong with this episode is, I think their ideas for the show were good, but I think the delivery was a complete miss. I think they didn't hit the mark with this episode. I think I can see what they wanted to do with most of the segments, but I just don't think that it was planned out well enough, which is ridiculous because it was a taped show. You would think that with it being taped, that they would have time to plan these things out better. It always seems this way, though. Whenever they go to the UK, the shows are always lame. The crowd is fantastic.
I know that, a lot of the wrestlers sometimes will work, 2 or 3 different shows a day. And I know that schedule, that UK schedule is hectic. I know CM Punk talked about it during that Cole Cabana podcast where they go over to the UK and it's just nonstop, you're jet lagged, all that shit. You just can never find your rhythm when you're over there. So I think the UK tour, the European tour schedule is kind of really what takes a lot out of the guys. And I don't necessarily know how that should affect creative, but somehow it does.
Well, I think that this has been happening for such a long time, that they've been doing this tour for so long now, that that they shouldn't have things or plans set up to be able to fill in those gaps. Like, they know that these guys are jet lagged. They know that these guys are doing all these shows. They should be doing something in order to fill in the gaps, in order to kind of make the show flow better. Maybe it's, I don't know, not doing so many live events because you know that they don't really matter as much as the live show does. Like, this is this is what sells your brand. You should be putting everything into that. Screw the house shows. Like, they don't matter. Nobody but the people who go sees them. They mean nothing.
And at the house shows, they only sell Cena merch. Let's just put that out there for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
They were talking about that on Reddit the other day, where one fan went to go buy, a kid's shirt, and all they had was John Cena. And I think they wanted an Orton shirt, and so someone tweeted Randy Orton about it, and I can't remember what Randy Orton's response was, but he did hashtag give kids a choice. And so they always tout that Cena's the #1 merchandise seller, blah blah blah. Well, there you go. His merch is the only merch available when you go to house shows, and then if you go to Raws or SmackDowns, you have a lot of Cena, but a limited quality of other wrestlers.
Yep. Yeah, they force their own hand.
You have to look at it this way. Vince McMahon would rather make money his way than making it, somebody else's way. So he'd rather sell Cena merch because that's what he said to do, instead of someone else saying, "Hey, we should sell Cena, Orton, Bryan, Balor, whoever." Instead of putting the most popular stuff up there, he wants to do it his way and just have Cena. I think that's Vince's mentality. He wants to make money his way, not by the way somebody else tells him how to do it.
I agree. I think Vince is the kind of guy that is going to stick to his guns until he loses everything. I think that's just the kind of guy he is. Like, he doesn't care if it's a bad decision. He doesn't care if it's a good decision. If he feels that it's the right decision, then he's going to stick to it, no matter what the outcome is, and and it's near impossible to change his mind. He's going to stick to his guns until he loses everything. I feel like that's his mentality. He knows best in this business. He knows best for his company, and nobody's going to change that. Neither he retires or, unfortunately, or passes away from something or gets ill. It's the only way that things are going to end up changing.
He'll croak while he's in Gorilla, bitching at somebody through the headset. I know that's morbid, but all right, let's continue to talk about Raw here, even though these other conversations are much more interesting than this Raw. I don't really know what to talk about next. There's a whole lot of highlights, really.
We could talk about Naomi real quick.
We could talk about the Miz and Mizdow real quick. I think that's a pretty interesting angle that took too long to pay off. We talked about it for a long time. They just kind of kept going with it and didn't really have a direction. And now, finally, after WrestleMania, They finally found a direction for it. Unfortunately, like we've said before, it's too little, too late. But it's interesting. I think Mizdow and Summer Rae make a good pairing for some odd reason. It works. I don't know why, but I think it's going to work out. But,
yeah, I agree. It's an
Summer Rae's
interesting
not
pairing,
she's not
but
a bad character either. She's not a bad character at all. So, hey, we'll see what happens. Now, we can talk about Naomi with Byron Saxton. Naomi starts off saying, "Oh, well, I didn't mean to. I got my emotions. I let my emotions get the best of me on and on." And then she starts laughing and saying, of course it's about her. Saying she beat Nikki twice and why am I not facing the champion? Which is a really great fucking question. Oh, here's Naomi who beat Nikki twice, but instead we're gonna have a battle royal. So definitely a good thing. Of course, like you said, do wins and losses mean anything around here? Another great point. Just a solid promo from Naomi. She doesn't really do anything wrong. She's good in the ring. She's pretty good within promo. So I'm really excited to see what they decide to do here in the coming weeks with Naomi and Nikki and Paige and how that all works out. Maybe Extreme Rules ends up being a triple threat, which would be really great because it'd be something new. It'd be something interesting. Instead of just one-on-one or 6 diva tag matches or battle royals or that kind of bullshit.
When I listened to her promo, like I felt like a shift in like the Divas division. Like I felt like because nobody in this new era ever questions the Divas division. They don't question why the matches are not any longer than 3 minutes. They don't question why none of the storylines ever match up, why it's just kind of everything is thrown together and all storylines are bullshit. Nobody questions it. And Naomi questioned it. She questioned everything.
Exactly. I thought that was such a good thing to do.
Do wins and losses even matter to anybody? Like that right there says it all. Like that's how the Divas division has always been run. Wins and losses don't matter. Who gives a shit? And why do we have to have a battle royal to decide whether who's going to have the title when I've beaten Nikki twice? And she should have had the title a long time ago. And I thought it was a great promo by Naomi. Once again, showcasing that this chick needs to be the champion. Like she's got everything. She's got the in-ring athleticism. She's got the mic ability. She can do anything. Like this chick needs to be running shit. Like give her the ball, let her run with it. And I just like the way that she presents herself. And I got nothing bad to say about that. But that promo was just fantastic.
Absolutely.
It was one of those promos. It's a good promo when you're pretty much nap time throughout the entire show, and then you like wake up and you're like glued to the TV because you're like, holy shit! Like that's a good promo. That's the mark of a good promo when you can't move your attention away from what's being said, and that's exactly what happened with Naomi. I was just glued, couldn't move my attention away. Interested in everything that she was saying. It was just really, really well done. She did a hell of a job. And you could tell it was ad-libbed. It wasn't like written for her. You could tell that like they probably gave her some bullet points we would like to talk about, but you could tell she filled in the line. She filled in the gaps. And she did a great job. Really impressed.
I definitely agree with you. It was a shift. I think there's going to be a big shift in women's wrestling soon. Just because we had the hashtag Give Divas a Chance, movement take off on Twitter. Then you had AJ go after Stephanie McMahon, which WWE kind of tried to brush that under the rug, but luckily it's still, definitely made headlines. And then, you have all those great women wrestlers down in NXT. You have some good wrestlers on the main roster, but not only that, there's good women's wrestling in other promotions. And I read an interesting thing the other day that there's the female attendance for Japanese wrestling is starting to see an increase. So it's definitely interesting to see what's going to happen with women's wrestling, especially now that Hillary Clinton is running for president.
Right, yeah.
So
That's a good point. That's a very,
So,
very good point.
you have a female running for president. There's a feminist movement. There's a lot of things going on, for women currently in the world. So WWE definitely has to make some changes, or I feel some criticism coming their way. I definitely feel it coming their way with all that's going on. You can't ignore it anymore. You have to change what you're doing with the women on your roster, the way you present them, the way you have them wrestle in matches. You have to make it just as serious as your men's division. You really do at this point in the game.
Yep, I completely agree.
All right, we're almost to the end here. Unfortunately, the next thing we're supposed to talk about is Dolph Ziggler versus Adrian Neville, and my stream froze during this match, so I missed it. I'm so disappointed. I'm gonna have to look it up tomorrow, or even later tonight, just to go see it. So, Matt, you can tell the people about this match and what you thought about it, man.
Well, I feel bad for you because for me it was like the highlight of the night. It was literally like the only match. Like for me, like I said, Snorefest, the entire episode. I just felt like it dragged down. I'm like looking at the clock and I'm just like, we've only been an hour in. We're only 2 hours in. You got to be kidding me. And then we get to this match, and as soon as I saw what it was going to be, I texted Oss right away, and I'm like, this is going to be epic. Because these two guys, Dolph Ziggler and then Adrian Neville, come on, it can't be anything less. And it was Adrian Neville's fantastic. Everything he does is great. He's just so athletic. The shit that the guy does is just amazing. It's unbelievable. He did this thing, and Alec, when you see it, you're gonna be like, "Holy shit!"
Kyle told me about this, where I think it was he walked on the barrier and then jumped off and did like a 450 splash or some bullshit like that.
Yep.
That's what he told me. I was like, I can't believe I fucking missed that.
Yeah. Yep. Dolph Ziggler was lying out on like the ramp, or underneath the ramp, below like when the ramp gets to he was on that, and Adrian Neville like walked across the barricade, and he was kind of doing like a fake bouncing act. It doesn't need to bounce. He's got pretty solid balance, I think. He was like pretending to bounce, and he gets to the edge of it, and we're like, what the hell's going to happen? And it was definitely unexpected because you could tell it was like pure like mark out moment. Even the commentators, even JBL was like, holy shit, like I didn't expect that to happen. Like, oh my God, like they were all like, whoa. He gets to the end, does like a 450 splash onto Ziggler, lands it perfectly. Oh man. Dolph Ziggler delivers a DDT in the match, and oh my God, like I don't know how Neville does it, but the way he like you could literally see him like hitting his head on the mat, but I don't know. It was fantastic. He like did like a headstand for like 5 seconds and then dropped. It was amazing. Everything about this match is fantastic. However, Dolph Ziggler ends up picking up the win over Neville, which I'm sure has some mixed reactions. I haven't really been on Facebook to really see it, but I'm assuming it got mixed reactions. I know Mitch messaged us and was like, he let this one go. It's fine right now, but 2's his limit. I agree with him on that one, because this is the second loss in 2 weeks for him. And I understand where they're going, and I didn't mind it last week. I don't mind it this week. I understand it was a well-fought battle, but they can't make, like in the words of Mitch Dow, they can't make this a habit. And I agree. They cannot make this a habit. They can't have him lose every single week, because then it loses its effect. He needs to start winning eventually. But I am worried about that because of something that JBL said, and it really worried me. When Neville was laying in the ring after he lost and before Sheamus came in, he says, this kid is going to be a great champion one day, just not today. Or he's going to be this guy's going to be, or no, I don't even think he's a champion. I think he said this kid's going to be great one day, just not today, or something to that effect. And I'm kind of like, it's almost like, it just felt weird that he said it that way, because it's like, this guy has the potential. He could be the champion tomorrow. I think he's got mic ability and in-ring ability. There's no reason he can't be. So they're really holding him off, which makes me worried that they're going to continue having him on this losing streak. I don't know. Hopefully they don't do that. Hopefully they put him in some sort of meaningful rivalry. I know Bad News Barrett attacked him at a house show in England, in Nottingham, England. And I just want to say, I just got to put the spotlight on this real quick, that Bad News Barrett didn't say he was going to Bad News Barrett's not retiring, and he's not going to after his contract expires. I'd have to put the spotlight on that, because there was another rumor, and I use the quotes because they're not really a news and rumor site. They're just a bunch of weirdos on Facebook trying to act like they're good. Anyway, who posted the video of Bad News Barrett attacking Neville, but they tried to sell it to everybody as if he were retiring, and then they didn't say the fact that after it was all said and done, he gets back on the mic, he attacks Neville with the bullhammer, and then gets back on the mic and says he lied, and then leaves. They never mentioned that. They just said Bad News Barrett's retiring, we wish him the best, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, like, what kind of news site is that? Like, I don't understand it. Like, it's one thing to do clickbait, but to flat out not even like watch the video. He couldn't have watched the video. They couldn't have watched it because they would have known that he wasn't retiring.
I think the funny thing was I looked at some of the comments, and a lot of the people were like, "Oh no, it's too, I'm sad he's retiring," and they were really like reacting like, "Oh, he's really retiring." Like they didn't watch the video. The page didn't, say, "Well, hey, it was all an elaborate work." No, they just said, "Oh, hey, he's retiring. Here's the video," and nobody bothered to watch it. So they all got the impression like, "Oh, he's retiring now." So,
and that's how misinformation happens. You get crappy wannabe sites like that, and they don't watch their videos, and they post garbage like that, and they misinform people by saying somebody's retiring when it actually had nothing to do with him retiring, and they make themselves look like fools. But we're wasting too much time in that. Just wanted to put the spotlight on that.
All right. All right. Let's talk about. I don't even want to. I guess you could call it the main event. The main event segment. Interesting that we opened and closed with a promo segment. Oh, sure that's pretty tiring for most of us now. Opening and closing with a segment that involves talking instead of wrestling, or it's a match, but it's only like 2 minutes of actual wrestling. Then there's like 5,000 interferences. There's no clear winner or loser, whatever. But Randy Orton picks a stipulation that, hey, him and Rollins are going to fight in a steel cage, so that way the Authority can sneak in and help him in the match. And then, Rollins says, hey, guess what? I'm going to take away the RKO. It's banned in the match, so you can't use it. Definitely interesting stipulations, but steel cage doesn't have a roof, so J&J could just climb up the wall and kind of drop in and say hi, or Seth could go for the door and the refs could open it, and J&J could run in through the door past the refs. So I mean, there's that. I mean, I know I'm being nitpicky, but it's like,
yep.
If you wanted to make it so that J&J and the Authority couldn't get in, it should have been a Hell in a Cell match instead of a steel cage. Probably being nitpicky, but still, it's just when you really break it down, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me at all. It doesn't work for me at all. It really doesn't.
Or he just could have banned the Authority altogether and said you're not allowed in the ring, and had that as a stipulation. That would have worked too. Another thing that I'm a little bit curious at, and this is where this makes no sense to me, is Rollins announced the stipulation of banning the RKO first, which I think should have been done last. And the reason I think that should have been done last is because now it makes no sense because his stipulation is Randy Orton's RKO is banned. Why wasn't Randy Orton's stipulation the RKO is unbanned? Makes zero sense. Okay, you can ban it all you want. Now my stipulation is unbanned. Fuck you. Now I'm going to RKO you at extreme. There's no consistency. It makes zero sense. Have Randy Orton do his stipulation first. He can't get a redo on your stipulation. Have him do his stipulation and then have Seth Rollins do his stipulation. That way, there's none of that. Nobody thinks of these things. This is why WWE, if you're listening, please hear me. You really need my help. I'm willing to help you out. I will work for food. I will work for mere scraps a day. I just seriously want to help your product because you guys don't know what you're doing. Fire the Rachel Ray writer and hire me. And hire Oz and hire Alec. Hire all of us and let us fix your show, please.
I definitely feel like you make a good point. Like, Orton could have just said, well, that's cool, Rollins, but your RKO is now unbanned, so that's my stipulation.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I'm like, what the hell? Like, why didn't you just unban it? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. They didn't really think that one through too well. And you make a good point with it being open. They do this all the time, though. It's the same exact thing. I want somebody left out, so we're going to do it in a cage because that gives the illusion that nobody can get in, but then it leaves the door open, literally and figuratively, to letting the authority in. Either they can go through that door or they can climb over the top, which happens every time, or J&J security or Orton's about to climb through the door. He's going to get out, and then J&J security slams the door on his head. It's probably what's going to happen.
Or they climb up the cage and they're starting to go over, and someone else starts climbing up after him. Like, could just jump off. I mean, you don't have to go back in the cage. I know it's stupid using logic with WWE, but
but these things are just simple, and it just astounds me that these things aren't even done. Like, I don't understand it. Like, it does make it interesting. Like, I'm perfectly fine with them banning the RKO because that makes it really interesting, but they should have just done it last.
Yep.
Like, you do it first and it just doesn't make sense. Do it last, ban the RKO. Cool. That's really interesting. And then that also builds up Seth Rollins and makes it look like he has the upper hand.
Exactly.
Because right now, at the end of the day, now he kind of looks weak. He looks really weaselly. I know that's his character, but he's also the champion, so he can't be the same weaselly guy he was without the title. You need to make him look a little bit more, a little bit tougher than he was. And by having him go last and have that power of Randy Orton saying, my stipulation is to keep the authority out, and it's going to be in a cage, and then him laughing and saying, that's perfectly fine. I don't need the authority because my stipulation is the RKO is banned. And then have Orton look like, what the hell am I going to do? Oh my God. Instead of have Orton say, I don't give a shit. Like, what is it? What's the point of the stipulation if Orton doesn't even care? Like, you're supposed to make Orton look like, oh my God, you banned my move. Like, that should have been, like, come on, guys. They dropped the ball with this episode.
Well, there we go, WWE. We just discredited your entire main event for Extreme Rules. So good job with that.
And before you say anything else, I just want to say this one thing. Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, nothing
really?
Screams extreme like Fall Out Boy.
Like nothing against the group. I'm not a fan, but nothing against them. But really, Extreme Rules, that's like the song isn't even good. Like, it's not even, there's nothing about it that's like, oh, I'm gonna see dudes go through tables. It's like, oh, well, I'm gonna have a freaking glitter party.
They always make questionable song choices for their pay-per-views, so we can't even get into that here. But what we do need to get into is kind of the final thoughts here. So Matt, your final thoughts on Monday Night Raw. Plus, part of the Road Break crew is going to be live in Albany next week when Raw rolls into town. So I really want to know what's going through your head after watching tonight's episode how are you feeling going to Raw live next week? And what happens if you're disappointed in the show?
Well, luckily, there are concession stands that sell alcohol at the event. So I may be too intoxicated to care. It depends on how the night goes. I'm excited to go because it's a live event. You know it's fun to go and see these things live, and our seats are going to be pretty solid. As far as the show itself, I don't know. After tonight's episode, I'm on the fence, and I feel like it's not going to be a good go home episode. I feel like they're going to drop the ball again, but they'll be back in the States, obviously. Hopefully they'll be better rested. So maybe they'll put on a better show. I'm hoping that it was only the jet lag and the and all of the house shows that they did prior, tiring them out. My final thoughts, though, I just feel like the delivery on this episode was completely missed. I feel like they missed the mark. I feel like the concept, the ideas were there, but they just didn't do what they should have with them. I feel like they had some good ideas, and this could have been a really solid Raw, but they just missed the mark. And maybe it was because they were tired. But to be honest, they've been doing shows in the UK for years now. So that's not an excuse. I don't see that as an excuse. They dropped the ball. I don't care if they were tired. There's no excuse for it. You've been doing this for a while. You know what to expect going into this. You should have already set up ways. This like I said, this Monday Night Raw live, that is the show that sells your brand. It sells the WWE. So when you put on shows like this, when you're wasting all your time putting on all these house shows, and then this show falls short, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense business-wise because, like I said, the house shows don't sell your brand. What is it? 12,000 people go to see the house shows, if that. Like those people,
Raw and SmackDown are what sell the brand. The pay-per-views are what sell the brand. And when you give us a product like we got tonight, it doesn't look good at all. It doesn't reflect well on the company.
Absolutely. So that's my final thought. I just feel like they missed the mark completely, and it wasn't booked fluidly. It was just a mess of a show, to be honest. It was very drawn out. Being a guy like myself who's passionate about wrestling, who loves the business like I do, sit there and wanting the show to be over, that's not a good thing, because I'm probably one of the biggest wrestling fans on the planet. And I wanted the show to be done with. I felt like it dragged on. I shouldn't have to feel that way. I should be upset when it's over because it's over. That should be how you should be doing every one of your shows. And
I even kept saying to you, like, we still, like, after the 1 hour mark, like, this show's only been on for an hour.
Exactly.
Like,
yep.
We still got another 2 hours to go, and then the 2 hour mark, it's like we're still, like, this show's been on for 2 hours, and there's still, more. Like, it just felt so, like, just so bloated and drawn out. It just dragged on forever and ever.
Yep, I completely agree. I mean, I wish that it was thought out better. I wish that they took their time on it, because I think that it had the potential to be a great Raw, but I just don't think it hit that mark, which is a shame. But that's just it. They definitely missed the mark on this episode, and definitely didn't do what they should have done.
I absolutely agree. All right, man. What do you grade it?
I'm going to give it an F, because I think they failed. Not that the show itself, quality-wise, was an F, but the fact that they failed at doing what they should have done. It was a failure in that sense. I think there were a couple decent segments, but here's the thing. When it takes 3 hours to put on 3 decent segments, you know you got a problem.
I absolutely agree.
1 hour per good segment, that's not good. It's not a good way to run a business, not a good way to run a TV show. Doesn't work that way. So I think it was a failure in the fact that there were so many good opportunities and they capitalized on pretty much none of them. They made so many mistakes. So many things were misjudged, miscalculated, misbooked. And, you know, putting who in their right mind books Gold Dust, Stardust, and Fandango after Adam Rose and Ambrose? Like, who in their right mind thinks, let's put these 2 really terrible filler matches one right after the other because that's going to get fans excited? Like, no, it's going to put everybody to sleep. It doesn't make sense. If you're going to have to do those matches, if you have no other choice, space them out throughout the show. Have one of those matches and then put something really good after. Put a segment, put a match, something, and then space them out that way. It'd be a much better show. But they didn't do that, and I don't know who booked it, but whoever booked this show, Michael P.S. Hayes, I'm looking at you. Even if you didn't do it, I'm still blaming you, you greasy bastard. Cut your mullet. It's not the 80s. Go cut your mullet, you fruit. All right, I'm sorry. I just don't like that guy. All right. Yeah, F failed. Michael
right.
P.S. Hayes failed it. But I did like Sheamus.
No, you didn't. I'm gonna give it a D-. That's as low as I'll go for him. Step your game up, WWE, and they always do this after WrestleMania. Just like, fuck it, we'll kind of measle our way along for the next few months, and then once it gets like Money in the Bank time, they're like, oh, okay, let's start writing good television again. And funny thing, Big E is on the Payback poster. If you didn't know, don't know why Big E is on the Payback poster. Kind of like that thing they did with R-Truth, last year or 2 years ago. He was on the Hell in a Cell poster,
I was just going to say that.
Nothing ever came of it. So Big E's on the Payback poster. I'm really going off topic here, but I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know why, but I feel like they just said, "Oh, we got this really cool picture of Big E. Let's put it on the poster."
Yep. Did you see time out before you continue? Did you see the Extreme Rules poster with John Cena?
Yeah, I used it for featured image on one of the articles that we posted on RopeBreakWrestling.com.
Was it the one with where the X is like?
Yeah, the American. Yeah, he's got his face painted like the American flag and all that.
Did you find that to be like the dumbest poster that they've ever done?
I thought it was just it was so just still trying to sell the patriotic angle.
I felt like it just looked stupid from a graphic design standpoint. Like, I felt like the X blocking his, like, the whole thing of it looked stupid. Like, it was terribly spaced. It looked dumb. It was poorly, like, they're just hiring random people to do their jobs now. Like, they're cutting back. Their budget cuts are so bad that they're like, from like every fucking community college in Connecticut. They're like, oh, you look all right. You've been doing this for 2 years. Come on to WWE. I don't know. Community college dropouts. That's who they're hiring for the WWE now.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, dear. All right.
I'm a community college dropout. Hire me, WWE.
Well,
and that's a true story.
So, some of Rope Break will be live next week in Albany, New York at Monday Night Raw. So, look for the Rope Break signs in the crowd. Look for a bunch of idiots going crazy. I don't know what they're going to do. But thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you head, if you haven't already done so, like our Facebook, go to Twitter, go to our website. It's all in the description. Matt, give them a quick thing about Friends. Make it quick, man. People are tired. Make it quick. Come on.
Yeah, I got work in the morning. I got to go home. All right. Quick, sweet, to the point. You got friends that don't know about Rope Break. You're a terrible person, terrible friend. Bring them on over to Rope Break. Tell them that they're not living the rope break lifestyle, they're not really living. That's just a fact. Tell them that, and then when they start crying, pat them on the back and say, "Listen, I know you're upset. You thought you were living life this entire time. Now you know you're not, but I have the cure. I can help you start living your life again. Come on over to Rope Break. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Rope Break Wrestling. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/Rope Break Wrestling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you can't remember any of that, then that's okay. We have it all in the description. So just click on the links. It'll send you right there. Like, follow, subscribe. And while you're at it, go to our website, ropebreakwrestling.com. Bookmark that sumbitch, and never have to sift through the trash again. I mean, I understand as a fan, I hate going to the sites and seeing Stephanie McMahon breaks a nail working out. Who wants to see that shit? I don't care. I want to know that so-and-so is going to be returning. I want to know that so-and-so may be winning the title soon. I want to know this stuff. And if you want to know that too without having to dig through that garbage, Rope Break is the place for you. So tell your friends to come on over. You're already here. And if you haven't liked our pages already, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Go like them. You need to start living too. Right here, we here at Rope Break, we give life. It's what we do. We're like wrestling gods over here. We give life to all the wrestling fans. It's what we do. It's what we do.
You are really putting us over. Jesus Christ.
We give life to the wrestling fans. So start living, seriously. I feel bad for you. I mean, if you want to go to the other sites, I mean, be my guest, but I promise you it's not going to be as good as what you're going to get over here at Rope Break. So as it says on our Facebook banner, get out of the bleachers and get in the ring with Rope Break. Haven't said that one in a long time, but that's our catchphrase. Don't tap out to those other sites. Reach for the ropes with Rope Break.
We got so many.
Boom. I think it's one of the best catchphrases we got. But bring your friends over. Don't be neglectful. Don't be terrible. Come on over. This is the best damn site in the world. Period. Bar none. End of discussion. Exclamation point. That's it for me. I'm done. This has been a public service announcement from your friends at Rope Break.
I think Matt said it best. Make sure you do follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, bookmark our website, like, share, and subscribe everything you see here on Rope Break Wrestling's YouTube channel. All the shows. React After Raw, the Sharpshoot, Before the Bell is somewhere in cyberspace. I don't know where it is. But definitely keep it locked to this page because we always got good stuff going on. Keep it locked to our Twitter page. There's always giveaway information. We got that stuff going on. And, of course, our Facebook is where you can always see what we're talking about during Raw. You know, get the links to React After Raw, to all of our shows. All that stuff, man. It's all there. And as Matt said, get out of the bleachers and get in the ring of Rope Break. This has been React After Raw for everyone here at Rope Break Wrestling. I'm Alec. That's Matt. This has been a great show. Good night, everybody.